go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Yo, what is up, chat? Happy Friday. It is June 10th. We have a massive WNBA 5-game slate. Can't wait for this one. It's a bit of a treat for us. Like I said, we usually get these big slates on the weekend, a Saturday or Sunday, but we dropped it on Friday for us. So we're gonna really dive into this. We had an early look video yesterday to get a head start on things. Me and Cade with his first debut on this live stream. That went really smooth. If you missed that one, you could check it out. In addition to the video later before lock, if you want some more additional information, kind of a different perspective that maybe Cade had on this slate. But now we got our boy Eric making his usual return back today. I don't know if you saw Eric, but on one of the comments on our recent videos, someone was missing you in the last stream, was wondering where you were at and if you were dead or not. Told them you're alive and well and you're going to be back today. So yeah, the community likes you on the stream. So that's awesome. And how you doing?
Doing well, man, and I really appreciate the warm welcome from everybody. I noticed earlier just yesterday we had 25 new members in the free Discord channel. Today I think we're already pushing like 5 or 6. So it's been awesome, man. I honestly I love that this has just been a really underutilized sport out there, and a lot of folks weren't talking about it until we got some props on the board, and now we're really making an impact in PrizePicks, and hit them for a lick the other night. We're hoping to run it back today on Friday with this big 5-gamer.
Yeah, for sure. That was a great night for the group Wednesday night, because I didn't get the recap though with you because you weren't around yesterday, but yeah, overall just a really solid night. And those kind of nights that you always hope for with games where they reach their potential, have some weird blowout or rotation or foul trouble or something crazy. Everything went as planned. So with 5 games tonight, there's a good chance, there's a high probability that there's going to be 1 or 2 trap games here. So I think we got to watch out for those landmines and navigate through this carefully. So we'll go game by game here. We have plenty of time. There won't be a baseball stream today on the channel, so we can really focus in on this. And I am sorry, I was trying to. There we go. I want to turn that off so we have more review here. Yeah, is there any key news that we wanted to go over before we hit up chat?
No, we're just gonna be waiting on, I guess, starting lines, mostly from Minnesota today.
Yeah.
We saw that Fowles is going to be out for the foreseeable future here, and they updated for Jefferson and Dantas to probably make their season debut today. So we'll just be kind of waiting to see what lineups look like that, and just talk some speculation.
Okay. Yeah, Minnesota's gonna be key to break down for sure. And that's one of the later games, I believe, right? That's like one of the 8 p.m. So
Yeah, I believe so.
yeah,
And hopefully this isn't a case where Prize Picks just kind of leaves us high and dry, and we get maybe the main three starters or two plus Jefferson here, and just they keep the price or the prop pool pretty tight for us. That wouldn't surprise me, but that'll just depend on if coaches are putting news out beforehand. Then Price Picks might make some adjustments.
yeah, I agree. And I just saw the news that I'm catching up because this is my first time back to the desk, but I saw the news that Maubrey's out.
Yeah, and she's going to be out today as well. And that's something we'll definitely go over because she was a pretty key player in Dallas's defense this last meeting.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna put a talc on that out, update that information. We'll get to that later. Yeah, so we'll have to play around with some lineups and rotations for the these later games. But let's just before we dive into the first game, let's catch up with chat and see who's rolling in today, who's joining us on this Friday. We got our usual boy Exile. What's up, man? Let's go. We're ready for some green. I hope so. He said I was here like an hour early. Love it. I know the times kind of shifted around because of the baseball stream not happening, and then we wanted to wait for some more props to open up. So changed it a little bit later start time. Hero. All right. Steve Mitchell, let's go first. Nice, man. Let's go. Vince, what's up, man? Let's get it for sure. Mike, let's go. You're Guido, what's up, man? Jatoa, the usuals, and Corey. Mighty saying great info. Thanks, guys. No problem, man. Underrated, let's go. Hit the like button. Yeah, appreciate that. And Bees Gaming, yo, what up, man? All right, guys, let's get into it. Yeah, we got 5 games. Let's spend some time on chopping these up. We'll start right away with the first one here I have on the board. Chicago Sky at Connecticut Suns. It's a 163 implied total, which I'm really surprised by. Me and Cade yesterday thought this would be a much lower implied total, like a 150 we predicted. So much higher. Vegas thinks it's gonna be much higher than that. And they have Connecticut as 6-point favorites, and I thought it would be a much closer line. I thought it was gonna be around 3 or 4 in favor of Connecticut, but yeah, basically Vegas doubled every all of our predictions from yesterday on this game spread in total. I think it's this one me and Kate agreed on was probably the hardest one to break down and predict, just in terms of game script and theory. Just because of both teams being really solid teams, and then both can shut down on defense when they want to, and both can be very efficient on offense. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts, since we went over this yesterday. If there was any new early lean on it that you had, or any key props that stood out right away.
Yeah, do you want me to start on the home team for Connecticut?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So these two are meeting for the first time this season since their postseason semifinals last year. Chicago beat them out, and I believe 3 out of the 5 games, pretty easy fashion. Um, this is definitely two very good defensive teams that we're going to see go at it. Very hefty front court on both sides. And some keynotes just for players that I noticed, things that stood out. The On Chicago's side, they have a couple of new personnel from their looks that they had last year. So we'll see Vandersloot for the most part probably cover either Heidemann or Courtney Williams here for the better part of the game. She'll switch off between a few of the bigs here, mostly on John Quell, but she's going to be a really really hard shadow for them this game, and she played a really good. Basically man on or player on player and restricted a lot of their 3-point shot. So it essentially took away one of their guards from the outside here. Um, but with that being said, Connecticut has a really good front rotation that they do. It's not necessarily a pick and roll, but it's a roll style that they free up one of the two bigs between Brianna and John Quell. And I'm interested to see this matchup with Emma now in the front court on the other side. They really worked Azure Stevens and their other forward that they had last year in short order for a lot of the games. So I really want to target somewhere between, I think, Brianna Jones, her real points. It's still under 12, and we're seeing her take several trips to the free throw line. So I don't mind her free throw prop at 3.5, but I want to key in on her 11 real points. And another, probably one of my favorite targets of the day is Dewana Bonner and her 4 rebounds. Not sure if you guys talked about that yesterday or no.
We did not. We completely skipped over her, but yeah, I get it. She can be really efficient. I just know that you guys have been burned by her rebounds in the past, right?
Yeah, she's gonna be one of these players until she gets back into her normal stride that is gonna be very frustrating to bet on. But one little fun fact that I saw in their history is for Bonner in this matchup versus Chicago, the 3 years that she's been here with Connecticut plus one on the other previous team, she's actually only the bottom bar was 5 rebounds. She's exceeded 5 plus in every matchup for 4 years straight. And they have the rebound prop at 4 today. So I think that is probably one of my favorite underrated plays on this side today. All right. I didn't even see you stepped away.
Yeah, sorry. My kid's
No, you're
home
good.
sick today. So you go ahead. I got to talk to him for a second. You go ahead with Connecticut and any other plays you had.
Yeah, okay. So a few other notable mentions, going back to the bigs here, Alyssa Thomas. I love her free throw prop, still at 2.5. I believe that didn't change from this last game. And we've seen her be a little less impactful on the just scoring, facilitating side of the offense, but she's been getting a handful of putbacks and a few opportunities, mostly for these trips to the free throw line. She crushed it this last game. And that's going to be another prop that I kind of want to target in on. And you could probably throw a blanket over John Quell. I love her PRA or even her rebounds. She's actually exceeded for her 4 year history this 7.5 prop, all but one of the games that they played. So one of those two areas I definitely want to explore today. But for the most part, some of the guards I feel like might be a bit of a trap play today. Both Heidemann and Courtney Williams are really small defenders, and they're not going to bode well for a lot of these players on Chicago's side. And just kind of going back to Vandersloot from earlier, she's going to blanket one of those two for the most part of most of the game here, and her stock upside has been really well. So I would be kind of weary for some of those other pieces here. All right, so we're
All
still
right.
waiting on. Nope, you're back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, kids are home sick today. Um. Okay. So would you say that's your favorite then, Bonner, for this Connecticut unit
Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
with Brianna's points?
Yeah, definitely. They're going to lean on their bigs here, and we should see them play upwards 25 to 30 minutes.
Another thing that Cade mentioned that he liked early look was Alyssa's assist prop. If it was, I believe if it was at 5 or 5.5, because at the time we didn't have it, and it's at 5.5. So
Yeah, it's I had it marked down as kind of a fringe play for
yeah,
her. She's a triple double threat on any night, so I wouldn't rule out honestly any of her props. I would say points probably on the far end, and rebounds, assists a little neck and neck now for this matchup.
yeah. I don't know. I don't get all the warm and fuzzy on this game. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's hard, in my opinion, just hard to predict overall what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a good basketball game. But in terms of prop betting, I'm nervous.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's what kind of I'm sticking with these low prop lines as well.
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. And then I guess on Chicago side, the early lean that we were talking about was Azura's points. If they kept it low, and they did, it's still at 7.5. And we also talked about Candace's PRA just because it yeah, I mean she's gonna have to show up in this big game. Primetime Friday game. We just want to throw a blanket on all her stat lines there. They kept her rebound at 7.5, but Connecticut is number 1 in rebounding as a unit, so it makes me a little bit nervous. And then yeah, so we kind of want to just capture her points and assist potential too in this matchup. What are your thoughts on those props and any others?
Yeah, I like Candace's PRA or her fantasy.
Yeah,
She's definitely going to have to be leaned on here,
yeah,
and we'll see some of her veteran experience really come into play, just being able to create shots for herself. And I do like the either the PRA or the fantasy call because she does have a bit of a assist upside here. So yeah, outside of points, stocks and assists will be your highest scoring scale on her fantasy. Um, but for some of these secondary pieces, I definitely agree with Stevens. Both of her rebound and her real points are, I feel like, just a little too low.
hmm
They're really going to need her size and scoring ability for this matchup. Matchup,
I agree.
um, I will say there is a little bit of foul risk. She got into quite a bit of
Sure.
foul trouble in the postseason this last year, so just
Yeah,
take it with a grain of salt. But this is going to
especially with
be
Brianna banging around the paint and Jean-Claude, like it's just two big bodies to soak up fouls.
exactly.
Um, yeah, that's a really good point. Something to think about. Hopefully, maybe like coming off the bench will kind of protect her somewhat from fouls. Like a lot of the heavy minutes that Jean Claude is going to be out there, maybe she can avoid a lot of those minutes to avoid getting those fouls. But yeah, maybe I was I was thinking about her PRA too because it's so low to her season average. I mean, it's 16 and or she averaged 20 and a half fantasy, and they have her fantasy at 16, and then her PRA is at 11 for the prop, and she's averaging 16, so it's really low. um
Yeah, for the most part, honestly, all of Chicago's props were basically just reposted for this matchup. They only adjusted a few points here or there, but I would say probably 80% of the props were just reposted from the other day.
yeah, yeah,
Um, One quick player that I do want to highlight, though, she's just been definitely not playing up to her potential this year. But at Allie Quigley today, I actually really have a lot of interest in her real points. Um, she was one of the players that, she's not the best at creating her shots all the time, but she was one of the more creative guards on the team that just had the open looks to take a couple of shots. And in a lot of their postseason games, she was actually one of the team's lead scorers in the opening quarter. And she got about anywhere from 6 to 8 real points essentially before half and ended up closing most of the games out with about 8 to 12 points. Um, we've seen that she really has been very inefficient this year, and
Yeah,
PrizePicks has been just taking her props down. But I'm gonna shout her out tonight for I think she's due for a get right spot, and that 7.5 is just way too low.
it is. It is. And Copper, man, she's her points, like she's just been living at that like
It's so frustrating.
12 point limit range. And I mean the shot volume's there. So that last game, you go back and look at the shot chart. She was taking a lot of shots all the way throughout the game, and even at the end there, that would have cleared her last game. But she just could not get over that 12 point hump and hooked at 12, and it's right there 12.5 again. But I believe she did clear her PRA. She soaked up rebounds and assists. So if that's something you want to consider for her, her PRA is back at 19 again. I believe last game she finished with 21 PRA. But yeah, it's not a great matchup in terms of rebounding, especially rebounding guards going against guards like Courtney Williams, who's the best at it. So
Yeah, or even Bonner. Bonner has
yeah,
about I think 3 or 4 inches on her.
yeah.
I for Copper, her rebounding is kind of at that line. I have it as kind of a mid-tier play. I don't mind her fantasy. She's going to be one of the more frustrating opposite sides for both Jonquel and one of the other guards. I will just kind of give a bit of caution whenever she was guarding Jonquel. Jonquel had a very difficult time, drew quite a few fouls. Copper, I believe, had 2 steals just from Jones alone. So there is a little bit of a risk there and definitely some upside for Copper, which is for me, I want to stick with the fantasy points just because that scoring, as you just said, we've been kind of locked into that 12-point range.
Mhm.
And if you scale it out with the rest of her production this year, you're going to be maybe just a little shy for the PRA. But I don't mind the fantasy for the stock upside, and they're really going to need her to be involved in this game if it's going to be close.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
And if they give us free throw props for her, I would be interested in. They didn't have them up
Yeah, that's what I was
earlier.
checking for. I want to see if they give us anything new because a lot of these props they opened up for these players, they did not give any of like their peripheral props, and I don't know if they're going to drop them later or they're just not going to drop them at all today, just given the size of the slate.
Yeah, I'm almost leaning towards we're either going to get them not at all, or they're all going to come so late. It's just going to be
Yeah.
way too much.
Yeah, because you're already gonna we're already gonna be locked in as a team or through our team process and finalizing our list, and it would be too late to add and change up our process there.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
I I feel pretty good about our current stream list for this game. Obviously, there are some mid tier ones that you discussed, but right now, I think this list looks okay. Oh, for John Cole, we wanted fantasy or PRA. I guess.
I liked both of them, honestly.
Yeah.
Either or. I'll leave this one up to you. Let me run and go grab the door real fast. I'll be
Yeah,
right back.
yeah. All right. I'm just gonna put fantasy. I'm gonna leave it at fantasy right now. So our fantasy line was at 31. All right, yeah, let's leave it at fantasy. It's not the best matchup. I'm just not feeling good about this game. But let's see what you guys think on chat. Let's go through some chat. All right. Boy, audio been glitchy, man. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. Like, so we use StreamYard.com, the web interface, to go live, and yeah, sometimes it could just be glitchy. Because it's definitely not like on internet side of things or anything with my connection. So I just think maybe it's just like the bandwidth of the website. Cali Budhead, what's up, my guys? What's up, man? How you doing? You asked, do you like Alyssa Thomas rebounds? Yeah, I think this could be a bounce back spot in terms of rebounding for her. Because I know Last game she did not get there, but yeah. Or I feel like her rebounding is always in play. I mean, just Connecticut overall is just a very, very solid, stout rebounding team. Hey, we got the bots back. Let's go, man. Oh, I love the bots. What about Ezzy fantasy score? Kind of like that. Yeah, BK. We're gonna go over that. It's definitely a favorite play of everyone's. Oh, let's get look at this. We are cheaper and fast. Okay, cool. Corey said low key play. JJ rebound getting a full point discount off at rebound. Yeah, it's true. I mean, she's averaging almost 8.5 and the prop is at 7.5. I mean, like I said, for both Alyssa and JJ, like I feel like the rebounding is always in play just due to how well that they rebound as a unit.
All right.
I'm just going to chat. Bees Gaming, you think Brianna Jones points best play from Connecticut? You know, that is something that stood out to me and Cade yesterday on the early look show right away. And then I know Eric touched on it as well. So, you know, as our crew here, I would say yes. But Eric also really likes Bonner's rebound too. So I think both of those probably would be the top ones from Connecticut. And then obviously Jonquil Fantasy is always live for Connecticut, but it's just the foul trouble you have to worry about.
Yeah, I think Jonquil is definitely set up for a really good game here. It just is really going to depend on if they're going to leave Copper on her, or if she gets a lot of Emma tonight, she's going to wreck. Like Emma's going to foul out, and they're going to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really curious because they did that for a lot of the games. They would start in the first quarter with this certain scheme, and more or less, whenever Brianna comes in and they have the four big front,
Yeah.
then it's a lot more frustrating for them or for Chicago to stop anybody.
Yeah. You know what I wish we had? I noticed this like the combo when they run big, like Brianna and JJ, like they really work well together and find each other open. Because one will draw all the defense and the defense will sag over or shift over to them and crash on them, and then leaves the other one wide open. And they feed a lot of assists to each other. But yeah, we did not get an assist prop for Brianna. But JJ, we did get one at 2, which is kind of interesting. I wish it was 1.5. If it was 1.5, I'd really like it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that last game, she was just feeding wide open baskets to Brianna, and unfortunately, Brianna just missed like some like wide open layups.
Super easy. She had
Yeah,
some
did you see
thick
that? They just like
yeah.
rim in and out. She just did not have the right touch on it. A little bit too hard of a touch. Yeah, but going forward, just look out for stuff like that. I think this type of matchup, I think this would have been perfect if to target one of their assist props because, like you said, I think they're gonna have an easier matchup here, and there's probably gonna be a lot of double coverage, so there's gonna be a lot of crashing and leaving one of them open when they're running big. But yeah, I think this has a high chance to push at 2. But if it was 1.5, yeah, I would have loved it. Let me make sure that they didn't give us a Brianna assist prop. I doubt it.
No, just the usual.
Yep. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to move on to the next game. Let me finish up on chat. Let's see. Corey said, "Wouldn't be the day without the bots." Yeah, man. They're you know what? They're good luck. They're good luck for us. That's what I'm hoping. It's a top play for me for sure. Thoughts on Copper and Williams this game? What's up, Paul? So Eric broke down what his thoughts on Copper. Courtney, I didn't have a strong feeling on her. I don't really like the matchup that much. What do you think?
No, unless she lucks out and has Quigley covering her, but even Quigley's a reasonable defender. Like I just don't think the guards are the way to go versus
Yeah,
Chicago. They
I
play pretty
agree.
tight defense.
I agree. Okay. Hero said Bonner's rebound prop and Alyssa free throw prop. Yeah, Eric liked those. He liked both of those. And yeah, I mean, I think Alyssa and JJ, their free throw props are always live. They're really good at drawing fouls and getting to the charity strike. I mean, they're both averaging 3.5 free throws made on the season. And yeah, I mean, Alyssa, they have her prop at 2.5, which just seems too low. Let me see if that they haven't adjusted that since. Yeah, that's way too low in my opinion.
Hmm.
Let's see. Chicago is what do they rank in terms of free throws attempts allowed? So they don't really foul that much, but it doesn't mean they can't tonight. Yeah, they're ranked 10th and amount of free throw attempts allowed. So they
Yeah,
keep
they're
their
very
hands pretty
patient,
close.
very
Yeah,
patient team.
something to think about. But that is a low line for Alyssa, who averaging 3.5 free throws made on the season. It's a good call out. Corey said Chicago's giving up the 5th most rebound at 35.7. Yeah, they are 7th in rebound percentage, and Connecticut is 1st. And that's overall rebound percentage, including offensive rebound and defensive rebound. And Connecticut dominated the boards. Yeah, they dominate. And Jatoa said liking Bonner's rebounds too. So you got a train going here with the Bonner rebounds, Eric. You got to lock it in, man. It's a good sign.
Nice.
We'll call that the "He Made It Happen" special.
All right. Hopefully it hits. Hey, I know Parker was a sweat for us last time.
Right. Um, Man, yeah, but it was just that one game. I mean, that's just how it goes. A rebound is so much variance behind it. But that one game, she had like the one that a lot of people liked. She had like 0 rebounds at the first half or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And that's, going to be one kind of frustrating thing with this team. We saw it, and it almost cost us this last game that more or less nobody could make a shot on offense. So they pulled Candace from being the rim protector to, hey, we need points and somebody make it happen. So if they fall behind in a game script like that, you'll see Emma or Stevens soak up like an insane amount of rebounds in this like short stint, and they got to have some offense somewhere because it's not coming from obviously so and so.
yeah, Bonner definitely brings that offense, shooting presence for sure. All right, let's ready for the next game. So this next game, I think we can say that this is the game because we have two bad defenses and a very close spread. Um, yeah, and just two teams that like to turn the ball over and shoot 3-pointers. So yeah, and basically can't rebound either. A lot of holes and weaknesses to attack on both sides of this ball on the ball, and we've seen this matchup twice already this season. And in both games, Sabrina just went nuclear. Game 1, she had almost a career game, scoring over 30 real points, almost triple dub. Was just super efficient, racked up stocks. I think she had almost 60 fantasy points or something like that.
Yeah, it's
And
insane.
then the second game, she had a great game too. I mean, obviously not to that ceiling, but she had like around 23 to 25 real points. Was filled up the stat line again. I think this time she had like five plus rebounds and some assists. Another game she had like 5 plus assists. So she's still filling up the stat line in both games. So it's a big reason why people like her PRA today. I think it's gonna be a popular play. One thing that me and Kate talked about, however, though, if you don't want to go with such a high number with their PRA, because maybe she doesn't get there with the assists or rebounding for some reason, just attack her scoring and her points, because how aggressive she's going to be in this matchup with Indiana running the second fastest pace and being such a porous defense, and how efficient she's been against them. She obviously likes to play against them, so we were thinking about just targeting her point props, including her 16 and a half points, or her I believe it was 2 3-point made, if it's still at that. That's kind of what our first early leans were on her. She's definitely going to be, it's 2 3-point made, definitely going to be a top target today in the top 5, just due to the matchup and history. And then there's some other secondary targets that we talked about, including Dangerfield's PRA at 10, we thought was too low. It's revenge narrative, also contract restructuring narrative, just all around motivation narrative going for her. Very low line at 10 PRA. But yeah, obviously she's going to be competing for usage and things like that with Sabrina, Natasha, and Rebecca. But I think it's something you could consider for a lower line and someone who's going to play big minutes, 30 plus minutes. So consider that. And Rebecca's just been really efficient with her scoring. Someone that we've been targeting for her points, but her points keep creeping up. It's up to 10.5 now. The prop liked it a lot better when it was around 8.5 to 9.5. So that's when you have to sit and think about a little bit more. Those were our early leans, and then we talked about Dolson. So I think we should have a little bit more discussion here with live chat on this, because it's something we talked about as a crew yesterday, something we touched on in the early look show as well. So curious to hear your thoughts, and let's break down her and then any other props that you liked for New York.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a big fan of Dolson today. We've seen PrizePicks kind of teeter with her real point prop and her PRA for that matter. They've been kind of going back and forth, and now we're getting her off of a bad performance. So they have them on fairly low lines here. But we know this is going to be a huge pace up spot for New York here. And just breaking down some of the game footage here. Between Dolson and Howard and Allen, New York has some fairly good size on Indiana here. And if coach pays attention, he should have seen that this last go between Dolson and Hahn, that the two of them, not only do they outsize, but just their playmaking that they have on like the rookie or the younger front court between Egbo and Smith here on the other side. Both of the two have been in a bit of foul trouble this season, so small cushion on maybe an extra free throw or two here for some of the big forwards. But Dolson has just an immaculate pick and roll with Sabrina here, and it's one of their things that it was slow to start the season, and with Dolson getting into some foul trouble, they don't run it. Honestly, they don't run it at all with Hahn. They just kind of do a totally separate offense scheme. But with Olsen out there, they run this finesse pick and roll. And every time one of the two of them is open, and typically they try to feed to Sabrina here. But in that same situation, if she misses the shot, it's usually from the inside the paint. And Stephanie is actually able to grab for a putback. So I saw at least 10 different open chances for Dolson here to have an easy layup or make a move inside and could have gotten a score. But the coach kind of switched it up at half. So that it gave me a little bit of pause as far as like saying this is a lock for today. But at 5.5, I feel like that's just way too low for her. And she's a 3-point scorer too. So we have, she could go out first 2 shots, clear our prop for the whole game, and we're good.
Yeah, I agree. That's something that stood out to us in the first look show. I'm surprised they kept all her lines so low with how efficient she's been in this matchup. So yeah, I mean she's exceeded that in last 2 times against in Indiana, like doubled that in terms of total points. So I'm there with you. I like it,
Yeah.
and we've been doing the last few games. I would say for New York is that we've been kind of fading her and we've been going with Shaq Zoo, but they have PrizePicks has really like adjusted her lines and really juiced them appropriately. I feel like they got her fantasy pretty much right where it should be at, around 20.5. It was much better when it was less than 20, around 18, 17 to
Mhm.
18. No, they have it at 21 now. Man, yeah, it's right there, because that's right about where she's been living, with playing around 20 to 23 minutes, because she's been, yeah, averaging about a fantasy point per minute. So I think maybe one line you can consider for Shaq Zoo would be her, obviously her block steal prop at 1.5. But I think instead of her, I would probably just stack Dolson 5.5 points with Sabrina's props, and just play max probably two New York players in this such a large slate where we have many more options, and go with those two. What is your feel? Do you agree with me and Kate about targeting her point or her scoring props, or do you want just to throw a blanket with her PRA or fantasy?
Yeah, I don't mind the points, honestly. She has really come into her stride from the last three. I mean, honestly, last four games. That fourth game, she had a little bit of a tougher defense, but her shot selection has just been really in her comfort zone lately. And even with these teams, like we saw the other day, where they were double and triple teaming her, she will still take double digit 3-point attempts. She'll go out and put it up from 30 feet out, no problem. So I think on any given night, unless we feel pretty confident on the other side that they have a really good on ball defender that could defend her, Indiana is definitely not one of them. So she's probably going to have free reign. And one of her kind of correlations to her real points is her free throws at 2, I think is
Yep.
just criminally low today. If you're worried about any kind of blowout, maybe we don't go full game props and you could go first half real points or free throws for a full game.
Yeah,
But
thank you for mine. That is, I knew I was missing one. So, because I was saying target her scoring props, that was supposed to be under that umbrella
uh,
classification. So her real points, her 3-point prop, and her free throw prop. Yeah, thank you. Because I forgot to mention Indiana is first in the amount of free throw attempts allowed per game. So they are racking up the shooting fouls, and New York is right behind them at third and most free throw attempts allowed. So they are both leading the league in shooting fouls. So yeah, I could get behind that. Man, it was nice. They had her free throw props for the last two games at 1.5, which was crazy
I
low.
know.
She would clear it just one play
Yep.
in first quarter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it has a good chance to push no matter what, I feel like. But the only thing is, like, I worry about is, like, if she gets hot from three, which we've seen what she'll do is just live from the 3-point line and just chuck it all game long and take like 10 plus threes, and just really reduces the chances of getting fouled if she's not being aggressive attacking the basket. But it is a low line for someone who's going to dominate the ball handling so much in majority of the game. So I'm with you on that. I need to add that right here.
Yeah. And a lot of the times we're seeing that her more or less her teammates come to defend her. Like they'll run a pick and roll like way out of the 3-point line, like 5 feet out of the 3-point line, just to free some floor spacing for her. And a lot of the times, if they're pulling past the 3-point line for any kind of double coverage, somebody's open on the back door and she's just going to flip it. And we've seen her. Seeing somebody's comment here, they were asking about Callie Bud was asking in chat about her over assists. She's, a triple double threat any given night. So for it being that low of a bar for her, she could definitely get there. But we've just seen her take so many shots, and I feel like until she gets burned out, it's probably just going to be easier to keep attacking the points and maybe PRA for a little bit
PRA.
of the upside. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say if you're not going to target one of her scoring props, one of the three scoring props, PRA was my second tier favorite, just because, yeah, she's going to rack up the rebounds and assists as well. But she does have a high propensity to turn the ball over. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I'd rank it. And then, yeah, we have Dolson points, like you mentioned. And then Cade also liked, and what we talked about was Rebecca Allen's rebound prop at 4. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. It's pretty much right at her season average.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Today for Allen, small bit of note. She has gotten into some foul trouble with this matchup and has seen some of her minutes reduced, but I didn't mind her fantasy or her rebounding props today.
Okay. And then we also discussed for team starter props, 3.5 field goals made in the first 6 minutes for New York, because Indiana runs the second fastest pace, and they are first in the amount of points allowed in the paint. So those are two stats that you love for this type of prop, because you need the field goals, so you want 2 point scoring into the paint, and Indiana leads the league in the amount of points allowed there. And you want to go your team go against a fast-paced team, so the increase the shot volume and chances of clearing it, and Indiana's second in pace. So do you
Yeah,
like
I
that?
like it. Yeah, definitely. It's good pace
Okay.
here.
Yeah, yeah. I believe last
Rapidor.
time, I think New York easily cleared this the last 2 times they played. So
Yeah, be right back. 1 second, man.
yep, yep. So that's something we talked about. So I think yeah, I think this target list, and we could put her PRA here. What is it, 25.5? It definitely got juiced at 25.5. Okay, that's our list. Let's see what you guys have on New York. All right, bots, what do you think here? Oh yeah. See, the bots like it. They love the list. See all those emotes? That means they love, love, love it. Cowboy, what's up, man? They bumped Allen because they know that's your girl. They know you're gonna play her. They had to do it. Jeffrey, you're made it. Just got off work. Let's make some more bread. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's keep this hot streak going for the crew. Franklin, Sabrina points or PRA? It's a good question. It's a real good question. I think I'll struggle with that one today a little bit because I like them both. I mean, I just like all of her scoring props, like I said. So it just depends. If you want a lower line, go with like her 3-point or free throw. But yeah, I mean, I think she's on such a heater, and how well she's been playing against Indiana. I'm just gonna lean points, um, because there is a range of outcomes that she's trying to play make and dish it out, but her teammates are just not making their shots. So that can really put the PRA in jeopardy, because let's say she doesn't clear a point prop, and the only way she would clear her PRA, that means she would have, like, let's say she has like 15 or 16 points. Yeah, you're gonna want her to have 5+ assists and 5+ rebounds, which I'm not saying she can, but there's just that range outcome we got to think about with the assists that her teammates just don't make their shots today. So, but I trust her to make her shots in this matchup, and we've seen it before. Yeah, more bots, bots.
All right. It's Friday.
Yeah, man. I was saying the bots they like our current picks right now. That's why they're giving all the emotes. Toa said 4-pick power card: Tatum free square, Sabrina PRA, Dolson points, New York starters. I like it. That's definitely on our target list. All those plays. I don't know about the Tatum free square though. It might not be free.
Yeah.
Cowboy said, "Who's guarding Queen?" We will get to that. Love me some Queen rebound. Oh, Queen, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Queen, she'll probably get the most part between Dolson, Howard, and a little bit of Rebecca, but it'll mostly be Dolson and Howard matching up for the front court for her.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we'll get to Queen in a second. That's something me and Cade were on. Randy said Sabrina's free throw is looking good. Had 8 last time out. Yeah, Indy loves the foul and push the pace, so definitely. I think Sabrina got a lot of those on fast break, where
Hmm.
she was getting fouled on a open court, like a 1v1 situation. So makes sense. Hero said Danielle Robinson first half PRA. She has cleared the last 6 games. But yeah, Danielle Robinson's first half props are all so low. It's such a low
Yeah.
hanging fruit. Cowboy said I like her PRA too. I assume Cowboy, you're talking about Sabrina. Yeah. Corey said great minds. I think he's talking about the bots. Corey said for my boy, Allen 4 rebound is a top target for me. All right. Hey, you and Cade like that, right? Trust the gut, man. Trust the gut.
Yeah. They
Uh,
definitely need her, so I wouldn't
yeah,
put her past.
yeah. And Jeffrey Majors said, I missed it. Why do we like Dolson's points? Eric touched on it, but briefly, it was just the pick and roll action with Sabrina, and also in this matchup, the last 2 times they played this season, she's just really thrived and scored, I think, 10 plus points in both games. It's a good matchup for her. Definitely a size advantage.
Yeah. Took some of her season high shot attempts as well.
Yeah. They probably saw, just know that it's a advantage point for them in taking advantage and taking advantage of it. Cowboy, love her points every slate. I think he's talking about Rebecca there. All right, we're caught up. Cool. So let's go to Indiana. Something that me and Cade talked about was just Kelsey's points. Always in play, especially if you want to run it back with Sabrina's points and hope they shoot out together, which I think we saw in the last 2 times they played each other. Definitely a good matchup for Kelsey against New York's perimeter defense. And then Queen rebound is something we noted because New York is such a bad rebounding team, and they're gonna chuck up a lot of threes, which lead to a lot of misses because it's a low percentage shot. They're 10th in rebound percentage, so they're bottom 3 in rebounding. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Queen's rebound?
Yeah, I definitely didn't mind her rebounding. She's gonna be one of those players, and we're seeing it even more with this coach, unfortunately, that if you're in foul trouble, your minutes are getting cut, like
Yeah.
immediately benched. So with that being said, I don't trust anybody on this team besides Kelsey Mitchell right now. Just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
being completely honest.
Yep.
Egbo is definitely a key piece in the offense here. Both sides of the ball, honestly, just from sheer size that they need. But she is a bit of an inexperienced player, and she's going to be going up for the most part against a more veteran player in Dolson. But she will have some time on the floor with Han as well. And just from their previous meeting, watching some of that, she had really good footwork and he was crisscrossing all day on her and driving to the paint a lot. So I didn't mind her um, rebounding prop or even her real points prop. They have it fairly low at 6.5, and she was able to draw a couple fouls between Han and between Howard on the other side to get a few free throw attempts. So fairly low bar. I think honestly just her props are at their low right now because she's seen restricted minutes, and that's going to be a caution that we're going to have with every night. But if you feel confident this game, with him being at home is going to stay close, then definitely go with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on the overall assessment of Indiana. Just trusting Kelsey for her scoring. You called out you liked her assist last game. It was at 2.5. They PrizePicks responded by bumping it to 3 now. So it has a much higher chance of probably pushing. But yeah, she's definitely playmaking more. And then the fan favorite who burned a lot of people last game on Wednesday, Victoria. Do you want to stay away today?
Yeah, I mean, I have it highlighted in green and like the saddest face whenever I was doing it. Yeah, she's due for a get right game. She's had the volume. We did see this last game that she got into some foul trouble and picked up, I believe, 3 fouls before half, and just was a ghost until almost the fourth quarter again. Um, so there's going to be a bit of risk for that. But in this meeting, there isn't too many opposing players on the New York side outside of, I would say, really just Allen and Sabrina herself that would draw the fouls from her. If she's going to be guarding Sabrina tonight, then I'm not touching her at all. But it really, a lot of this is just depending on the coach. We haven't seen any kind of a set rotation or a set scheme look from them. It's just been go out there, Kelsey shoot the ball, and y'all try to keep it close.
Yeah. Okay. And then honorable mention before we move on to the next one. Cade liked Indiana's half 3-point made in the first 6 minutes. Said they cleared this both times in the 2 matchups this season. I don't have a gut feel on it. It was something he liked, so I don't know if you like it as well. I'm probably gonna stay away just because. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more variance there for that.
Yeah, with Indiana, you're definitely going to have that. Honestly, just as an achievable target, anything underneath one, I think, is going to be in play. With this being Indiana, obviously my level of confidence is right at the bottom. But
Bad team, very bad team.
yeah, it's they're super bad, and sometimes it takes Mitchell a quarter or so just to get warmed up. But we could have
Yeah.
a normal game from them, and they come out and Vivian's hits a three right off the bat like she should be doing, and not missing back to backs. But it's
Yeah.
Indiana, so you roll the dice if you're feeling confident.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. So let's move on. I don't think anyone had anything on Indiana, and understandable. So let me did you have something?
No, I'm just laughing. Everybody got
Oh,
burned
okay.
last time.
Let me update the stats on this. So this is a 6 point. Oh, this is ugly again. 153, very low total. And Seattle at 6 point favorites. I believe they were 7 or 8 point favorites last week. So these two teams are going to have played each other 3 times in a week and a half span. They played last weekend, and they're going to play 2 times over the next 3 days, I believe. I think they play again this weekend. So definitely going to get familiar with each other. But so last game, let's recap last game. So last game, Seattle played at home. It was the late night hammer. They were 8 point favorites,
It's a
and
COVID game.
they played one of their worst games in a long time.
Yeah.
franchise history. They had almost, I want to say, like 40 points going into the fourth quarter, or maybe even less. I think I just remember the commentators talking about when I was watching it live, saying like this is like franchise record.
Yeah, 36 points.
Yeah, it was bad. They just weren't making their shots. Now, the lone bright spot, of course, was Brianna Stewart, who continues to try to carry the team, very much like Jokic did for the Nuggets all season long with that broken team. She's gonna feel like she's gonna get it done, no matter what, in any game environment, any situation, no matter how her team's doing. So all of her props are live. And what's kind of weird, what stood out to me is like PrizePicks like lowered her fantasy point prop and her PRA prop, and I feel like just loaded way too low. I mean, they have her PRA at 26, and she averages 30 PRA on a season, so it's almost like a 4 PRA. You never see that much that large of a margin between the season average and a prop line. I mean, I'd probably just stick. It's so low, it's tempting, but I'd probably just stick with her fantasy because she has such a crazy steal block upside. She's averaging almost 4 stocks per game. So I'm probably gonna lean fantasy for her. But yeah, you could also consider her rebounding too, because they can go cold and shoot really inefficiently. And but they're a top 3 rebounding team. That's the only thing. And Seattle is ranked last in rebounding, actually, rebound percentage. That's kind of what stood out to me. And then besides Ezzy, who a lot of people like today, and rightfully so, I don't believe she played that last game that they played so bad in.
No, that
So
was the COVID game. Her
yeah,
and Bird were out.
yeah, yep. So much different makeup today for Seattle. With that said, I think this actually has a higher chance of blowing out this time around, like we thought it was last game. I mean, Dallas only put up like 68 points that game. It's not like Dallas played that well or shot lights out. It's just Seattle just couldn't make their shots. So if Seattle makes the shots like they normally do, and Seattle's one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, they take up there in top 3 in 3-point attempts. They chuck it from 3. And if Jewel catches fire and Brandon's making her shots and Gabby and Ezzy's dominating the paint, like this could get ugly. And yeah, by the fourth quarter it could be over because their defense is so stout. We know Dallas is really going to struggle to put up points. It's just a matter of Seattle's offense is humming. Something to think about, but I think Ezzy and Brianna you could really lock in today. I like them a lot. I'd probably just go with Ezzy's fantasy. You could also consider her rebound as well, but or even her point prop at 9.5 is really low. Is there a particular one that you liked? And any other props for Brianna?
Yeah, this will definitely be an interesting situation. I feel like this is where we need to have that goldfish memory and
Yeah,
just forget about last game.
yeah,
Them not having both Ezzy and Bird out there was a huge blow. None of their bench players. I want to say going into the third quarter, or no, finishing up the third quarter, they had 2 points from their bench unit after their entire run, and still it was only Sabrina doing all the work. So um, we've been getting some kind of mixed signals, I want to say, between the whole team's production as a whole. Going back to referencing that they've been one of the worst rebounding teams. I feel like that actually doesn't hold true where they could be or where they should be with their normal starters in, since they had such a leave of absence with COVID between Bird and Talbot was out for a little while as well, right?
yeah. She was.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of their sizable defenders on both sides of the ball have been out for a little while, and I know that this PrizePicks has recently been lowering, especially their rebounding props. Um, you were very high on Stewart's rebounding this
Yeah.
last time, and
Yep.
she made us sweat it a little bit, but she definitely got there. Um, and I feel like this is going to be a completely different game.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, Dallas came up to their home and smacked them down for the COVID game. Now we got full strength Seattle coming back into Dallas. They're going to be looking for blood. I love the Joker reference for Stewart. I mean,
Yeah.
she's just an absolute monster out there, very efficient. Between her playmaking, her field of vision, and her stock upside is just phenomenal.
Yep.
And we know that Dallas isn't the best 3-point and perimeter shooting team, so they're going to try to keep working the backdoor cuts and trying to free open some of the lanes here. So I'm looking for a huge bounce back spot for their starters here, and for Seattle just to really put it on them. Hopefully, with that being said, Dallas can keep it close, being at home. They shot very
Yeah.
efficient from 3 last time. I'm not sure if I expect that again, but Salabi's looked fairly reasonable and staying out of
Yeah.
foul trouble. So,
Yeah.
we could get another really good game here, and not quite as lopsided for Seattle.
I hope so, man. Dallas is another team that I just like. I can't put a lot of faith in. It was how up and down and inconsistent they can be, but yeah, hopefully Gray and Enrique can get them there. But we'll get to them in a second. So I think we could probably mark what Brianna's fantasy, and Ezzy's fantasy is probably top tier plays today. And if you want to get on some of their lower lines, I get it. Like Brianna's rebound, or you can get on Ezzy's 9.5 points. And then
Yeah.
Jewel, my favorite player in the league by far. That game, man, she had so many shots go in and out. The shot volume was there, but yeah, she fell short. They still have a point prop at 16.5. The only thing I'm concerned about is you don't want a full game. Although I did notice that like when the game is like out of reach, they still keep Jewel out there. They'll take everyone else out.
Yeah, you made a really good point of that last time. And we saw that here too. They
Yes.
pulled all the starters besides
Yeah.
Lloyd. She was out there for another, I think, 3
She closed.
minutes.
Yeah, she
Y-
closed with the scrubs.
Yeah. She played 3 minutes longer, and then they pulled the rest of the people, and she checked back in, and then closed the game
Yeah.
out. And I was
Yeah.
just like, what? And that could be, just maybe due to lack of personnel, or coaches just
Yeah.
like get
COVID
out there,
game.
finish. Yeah. Um, so,
Or maybe
but
maybe they're letting her like point chase like a record or something. I don't know.
maybe, honestly, I like the history here for Jewel in the matchup. She's dropped a lot of 25 real point games on her. I believe last year in the 3 meetings she had 25 points in all 3 meetings.
Yeah, I always like her, man. I always consider her when she's on a slate. So I'm just gonna always by default put her point, or you can even do her PRA. But since they're getting healthy with Sue back and Talbot, I'll probably just stick with her points. Just say 16.5 points. I think so. Me, Kate talked about the team starter props for Seattle. I think the only thing was they really juiced their team starter props. I think they had them. Yeah, they have at 4 for the field goal made. Real high chance of pushing there. But yeah, I mean their 3-point prop could be in play just because, like I said, they lead the league in 3-point percentage, and I think they're top 3 in 3-point attempts. On the season, they are first. They took
Yeah.
it back. They've been right there with what New York. Them and New York are like neck and neck with like 3-point attempts per game. So that could be something if you want to consider. But Alicia Gray is a solid perimeter defender. Something to think about. Let's see how many 3-point made. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, see, Dallas is allowing the least amount of 3 points. They are 12th. 3-point made. So they have a pretty solid perimeter defense, especially with Alicia Gray. Always a top all defender every year.
Yeah, in the previous meeting, they were 9 for 27 from 3, and Seattle was 5 from 29 from 3.
Yeah, it was a bad shooting night for Seattle, man. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess if we're good on that, we can move on to Dallas. So let's talk about Dallas for a minute. I wouldn't go into much detail on them, but since Marbury's out, we should probably try to break down what the lineup will be, and maybe there's some lower prop lines we can get on that PrizePicks will not have adjusted accordingly. Before we do that, I think one that stood out to Kate and I was Sabby's rebound prop. If it was at a certain line, what did they drop it at? Because we have not updated this.
They pushed her up to 6.5.
See, we were hoping it was going to stand her 6.
Yeah, that's what I was shooting for.
Okay, well, I guess maybe PRA then.
Yeah, her PRA or fantasy, she's going to be one of their more sizable defenders. They're going to need to
Yeah,
stretch the floor.
they juiced all her lines.
Yeah. Yeah, she's getting out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, 24. Oh my gosh.
I mean, you're talking about a player that they introduced at 10 and 11
Yeah,
fantasy
yeah,
for full
yeah.
game props. Yeah.
Oh man.
So, PrizePicks is definitely wising up to this, and she's going to be one of those low floor foul games or very high ceiling, just because she's a do it all kind of. The they keep listener as either the forward or a center, but she plays kind of both roles for the team, depending on foul trouble for the team.
Yeah. Do you think there's a possibility that Harrison could play and they go big or start? I mean, not play but start with
It's possible.
Sabby and Thornton.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned that. A lot of the commentators from the previous game too were really talking about and pointing out just some of the ways that Harris was really able to use her footwork between her, Salaby, and Gray. Being able to use their footwork to really break down the defense in order to create driving lanes. And a lot of them ended up kind of in this three forward rotation where they would shift the defense around and it would create a backdoor lane. So one of either Gray or Bella was the open scorer, and they would just keep running it, keep trying to go back to that over and over. Um, and hitting back on, you were talking about Dallas isn't the most efficient 3 point attempt or even 3 point made team. Um, I wouldn't expect them to keep the same pace and being able to even make that many threes that they had this last time. But Seattle's definitely going to clamp down and make them earn some of the inside points that they're going to get.
Yeah.
I really wish we got free throw points or free throw props for these teams. I'm
Yeah.
hoping we do.
Yeah, it really stinks that this is like a later game because I think PrizePicks is just going to wait for the starting lineup to come out, and by the time the starting lineup comes out, the other games, 2 games, have already started.
Yeah.
And then that means, yeah, a lot of the props are going to drop for the current players they have on the board, and then all the other players are going to drop are probably going to be after the first 2 games. So you might just have to treat the Dallas, if you want to play Dallas players, you might just have to treat them as a late
Night
night
slate.
entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just not include on your main card that's going to include all the games. I think one honorable mention for me, since Savvy's rebounds went up, would be just Gray's rebounds at 5. With Seattle, how many threes are going to take? A lot of long rebounds to go around. And she's a really good rebounding guard / forward. So
Yep. I
combo
like it.
guard. So as of right now, what's currently on the board, that's probably what I would have. And then Cade mentioned that he liked Dallas's 3.5 field goal made in the first 6 minutes because, and I somewhat agree with him on this because I noticed it when I was watching the game live too. Seattle gives away so many backdoor cuts and easy cuts, layups, because they're just not guarding those. They're not dropping in coverage and defense and allowing those easy layups. Gray was getting a lot of them, Enrique too. So they were racking up those easy layups and field goals. So I get the rationale behind that, but maybe Seattle adjusts. And like we said, Ezzy was not playing in that game either. So something to consider. I think the defensive strategy will change.
Yeah, definitely. And it being another one of those just getting to that point target. Under 4 for the field goals made in 6 is still pretty live for a lot of these teams, especially if there's a reasonable pace or you have good offensive players to create shots.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna mark Dallas wait and see.
Yeah.
Nothing. We're gonna need to see the starting lineup. We're gonna see what the props are. So no reason to break it down any more than we have to on that one. Before you move on, let's see what chat has. Oh, hey, what's up, Emerson? Welcome, man. Been waiting on you. What's up, y'all? Get that money today. I hope so. Cowboy loves him some Sabby. That's his second favorite girl next to Rebecca. Yeah, we wanted a player, man, but PrizePicks really juiced her. Bees Gaming said Ezzy's fantasy points a lock tonight. I think I'll definitely have high exposure, but not 100% exposure. Okay, Corey said, going back real quick, D-Rob Danielle Robinson, 3.5 rebound, had 8 and 6 rebound in both matchups this season, averaged 3.8 rebound in the season. New York giving up the second most rebound at 37.8. Yeah, New York is not a good rebounding team at all. And it makes sense, they're going New York, like I said, right there with Seattle in most 3-point attempts. So that's going to lead to a lot of long rebounds potentially, and just a lot more rebounds in general. So I get it if you want to go with Danielle's rebound prop at 3.5. I like it. But
I mean, honestly, on both sides of that game, their first game, a lot of the rebounding props that we have in play are pretty much in play. I have a lot of them highlighted, but there's obviously going to be some overlap between. I wouldn't feel confident in picking out any of the secondary pieces for the rebounds. Any given night, she could pick up 2 fouls here or early foul, and you sit down, miss out this normal rotation where you normally got fouls, and now you're back into this in the second unit, and it's not happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Still no props for Washington.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, finishing up chat here. So yeah, everyone still likes Sab even after the juicing. Corey likes PRA. Chatoa said 6.5 rebounds live. Yeah, I mean, me and Cade wanted to jump on the rebounds if it was at 6 or less. But yeah, it's 6.5 we could still be considered, I think. Franklin asked, "Ezzy fantasy?" Yeah, everyone likes that today for sure. Would Jeffrey Major, would you guys consider Seattle's first half prop since you guys think there could be a blowout potential? I think so. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think Brandon's going to play that normal full first quarter and a good portion of the second, like over half of the second quarter. Notice she does that. Yeah, her and Joel pretty much going to play the entire first, so hopefully get it done. But yeah, Brianna's been very efficient right off the bat on a lot of games, so I wouldn't be opposed to it. What do they have her at? I assume her prop is at 34, so yeah, it's probably 17. Let's see if they taxed it at all, and if they did, by how much? Oh no, so you get no tax, which is kind of nice because they have been taxing first half props lately. I don't mind it. I mean, 17 is very low for her for a half. I mean, I was playing one night I played her one of her half props, I believe was at 21. Yeah, 19 for the first half, and then I did a second half card with her and it was at 20, like 21 and a half, and she still easily cleared it.
Yeah, she's wrecking. I mean, she's a wrecking machine out there on any given night.
Yeah, if you were gonna choose one for her, first half or like a half prop, I would choose the fantasy because the points, she's very efficient scorer, but the only issue is that like Jewel could take over and get hot and eat up a lot of usage in a half. So I would just feel more comfortable with the fantasy because she can just rack up the stocks and get it done with individual effort and not have to be affected by others, if that makes sense. So I could get behind that. I don't mind that at all. But I mean, I like her full game fantasy as well. Aguida said she doesn't really get stocks. Who are we talking about here, Aguida? Are you talking about Ezzy? Ezzy's like first in the league, right? Like four. He can't be talking about Ezzy.
Oh, that I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe he's talking about Sabby. Sabby talking about Sabby. She didn't really pick up stocks, right? Yeah, she doesn't. She's like 0.5 average in the season. He's got to be talking about Savvy, and that's why they're talking about her PRA. Okay. See what the bots got. Oh, we got wet, sweat, Yeah, that's gonna be us tonight, man. Sweating all night. Hero, which player has hit the most for you and which has burned you the most? Okay, I can answer that very easy. I would say that Brianna has hit the most for me. She's never let me down. Knock on something. And who has burned me the most? Easy, hands down, Natasha Howard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which prop it is. When I pick it, it goes the opposite. So what about you, Eric? You got it? One?
Yeah, she's probably one of my most frustrating players to bet on. I had her pegged dead on for the first 2 games of the season, and then it just all went sideways from there.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite or a player that's hit the most for you?
Um, Not really, honestly. I mean, I try not to have too much overexposure.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
I get goldfish memory anyways. It's all just kind of data and running back and
Yeah.
looking for me.
Yeah. Um okay, that was a fun question. Guida said Carrington is up. Okay. She is Bay. Guido's talking about Sabby. Ezzy is the stock queen. Oh yeah, she is. Crazy. It's like almost averaging 5 stocks a game. It's insane. Natasha Howard rebounds all day long. Go for it, man. Go for it. I can't do her.
I'll say just kind of hit on that real fast. I did have that for one of my favorite props for Howard, but that's just depending on your risk tolerance for that player.
Yeah. I'm not trying to talk anyone off of her.
Mm.
It's just out of gambling principle for me that I am gonna stay away from her. I've had in the past NBA players like that with DFS that would just notoriously burn me. And I think back in the day when Torian Prince was getting a lot of minutes for Atlanta, he was that guy. Because he was so up and
Mm.
down. He would have these like monster stealing games out of nowhere, and then you play him, and then he burns you, and then you like, all right, I'm not gonna play him again, and then next game he goes off for 40 or 50 fantasy points. So there's always gonna be those players out there for you, your nemesis. So what I end up doing is just staying away from them, and if they do
Yep.
well, they do well. Good for them. Kind of like Bam Adebayo.
Yep. I'll take my chances without it.
Yep. Okay. On to the next game. I think I told Gunn to put an. I don't know if he did it for this stream too, but I told him to put Atkins as the cover girl. And the reason being with just the matchup, and I went under the assumption that Donnie was going to be out, and she is.
Yep.
We don't have any props, but I like her point prop if it's probably less than 18, 17.
They
Especially.
literally just went up. Just went up.
Okay.
And we got Minnesota props early too. They went up a few minutes ago.
I'm on first half. I was like, wait, what? I was about to get really excited. I forgot I was still on the first half. 15.5 points. I like it. All right.
Yeah, under 16 for her with Donnie out is like the sweet spot. And she still
Yeah.
didn't even have a very efficient shooting game this last one either.
Are you surprised that it's only an 8.5 spread with Sylvia being out, and like that's such like the major part of their defense, and their defense was already bad?
Yeah, I thought that the spread was honestly going to be even bigger than that.
I thought it was gonna be 10 plus.
Yeah, maybe they're giving them the extra cushion for the home field advantage, but
And Donnie being out, but they showed the last game against Chicago they didn't need Donnie. Donnie went out early, and Washington held the lead the entire game.
yeah, the Washington getting Clark back and also being
Yeah,
able to rely on
Clark
some of
played
their
really
other
well.
players.
That was the first game she started too, right?
It was the second game back, but
Yeah, her first
we,
starting.
no, she started the last one as well.
Oh, I thought she came off the bench the last one. No, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, but that was the weird coaching decision game where he cut all the starter minutes short and they didn't do anything in the third and fourth.
Okay. So last time these teams played, it was very early in the season. It was like the third game of the season. Donnie did not play that one either. Atkins went off for 20 real points, 6 to 17. She was 1 of 5 from 3, so she could have even racked up more points if she was a little bit more efficient from the 3-point line. She by far dominated the shot volume. Hines Allen was right behind her. Clark did not play that game though. Like you said, she's gonna be back. I still like Atkins points a lot with matchup, especially with Sylvia out. Things are just gonna open up in the paint in the mid range game a lot. You have Natasha down to 6 assists from her usual 6.5. Consider that. And this one right here, this is one that me and Cade liked right away. And now with Sylvia out, I love it. 3.5 2-point field goal made in the first 6 minutes. Things are just going to open up in the interior with Sylvia out because she's like a prime defender, and pretty much the only solid defender they have. Because I mean, their defensive rating, they're second to last in defensive rating, and that's with Sylvia playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know Washington is the slowest paced team in the league, but it's too good of a matchup now, and I feel like they could easily get that done at 3.5. And I think what I would do is positive correlation is pair Atkins 15.5 point prop with that prop because it correlates really nicely. Because if she starts off hot, racks up, gets like at least majority of those 4 field goals that they're gonna have to make in the first 6 minutes, you're already on a good path to clear both. So I like the positive correlation with that. And let's see what we get for Clark. I think Clark, with how well she played last game when she started and how she looked, I think with Donnie out, definitely in consideration in this matchup with Sylvia out. But we don't have any props for her yet, so I have no idea what they're going to drop her at. I think they're probably nervous and they don't even know what they're going to drop her at. So I think it's one we could maybe take advantage of depending on how they adjust her lines.
Yeah.
They might just open her too low.
Oh, absolutely. And this was one that, we had a strong lead on this last outing. Just with her coming back from injury, starting, and then seeing that weird game from the coach, it just set up for a perfect storm for her props to be extremely low. She got a push for the rebound prop this last game, which was a little frustrating, but her PRA and her fantasy score, she just, absolutely shattered it before half.
Yeah. Okay. So would you also consider Shakira?
Yeah, I like Shakira again today. I'm a little.
We're gonna
Go
have to
ahead.
pick and choose though. I mean, because we're not gonna play obviously all three on the same team with how big a slate this is and the potential blowout. So I guess we're gonna have to really narrow our focus down on maybe just 2 key ones, right?
Yeah, more than likely. And Washington's also another team that's kind of burned us just with a few weird rotations, or they'll just let they'll let the game go late in the third quarter, and we get a flat rotation in the fourth quarter for us. But for me, I definitely feel confident with Atkins today. We know just history proven that whenever Donnie's out, she's going to be the number one ball handler, regardless of game script.
Yeah.
And
What about a rebound? They opened her at 2.5 still.
so I worry with Kimbrough coming off the bench. She is a rebound monster, and we saw that
that's
early
true.
in this year that she was hyper efficient, more or less the Ezzy of Washington for us, if you will, very involved on the glass. So hopefully that means that she's going to take that responsibility off of her and be able to help really set the guard shooters up because they struggle from beyond the arc like really bad.
Yeah, I mean, Kimbrough, she had 5 rebounds that last time they played, and then Atkins had 4. Austin had 10. I just think that, with Sylvia being such a key part of their rebounding for Minnesota. Like that's like you're taking away essentially 10 rebounds off the board there for her. That's what she averages. I just think that considering rebounds for Washington players would make sense just due to that fact. With Sylvia being taken out, yeah, I think maybe we could get just depending on what Clark rebound opens at and what Shakira's rebound props open at, we can consider those possibly.
Yeah, and I'll say, just for the pace up spot for Washington here,
Yeah.
and such a low prop for Atkins, that 2.5 is very, very easily achievable. She could get that before the first half here.
Yeah, it's tempting. I want to look at more data. I want to see like when Donnie is out, is what happens to rebound percentage across the board for Washington players. Does anyone get a significant boost or decrease in rebound percentage? Is something to look.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Shakira props. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, and I guess that would be my question for you. What do you feel more confident in, her grabbing the boards or taking the shots?
Oh, for sure taking the shots. I would say
Yeah.
she's probably my second favorite player in terms of like scoring next to Jewel. Just like how aggressive she is.
And
But
creates her own shots.
yeah, creates her own shots. Yeah, exactly. So I agree that I would probably feel more confident in that. It's just like the rebound's just such a low line that it's understandable if you want to go chase the lower line. Shakira is only at 5.5 rebounds. I wonder, could she push if the game could stay somewhat close? Does she push this 35 minute range again with Donnie out?
I think so. She's a fairly young player,
Yeah,
and somebody that they definitely want to develop here with the offense. We saw early on in the season that they had Maisha as a starter and in place of some of these pieces that they were missing. But now that we're seeing the normal offense come back minus Don, that this is the look that they want to go with, and probably I feel like we're going to see moving forward, this will be our key offense.
okay. All right. I'll for now I'll just mark that as a mid tier. Her 8.5 points. What I mean, super efficient.
Yeah, her props are definitely low. She failed a lot for the last couple of weeks. Just some, I believe, in part due to foul trouble, but mostly just game script and coaching decisions to pull some of the starters here. She's very fast. One of their quick break players that they have, and not having fouls on the other side, she'll probably see more of Shepard today. And Shepard actually she's a reasonable defender, but she gets into a handful of foul trouble. So maybe attacking her points would be um, probably an easier route if we're getting a couple extra free throws there.
Yeah, me and Cade had marked that we liked Austin today, and we marked her rebound as something to watch out for, and I think we said if it was at like less than 6, so I think we can definitely consider it, but definitely Atkins and the team starters, and then the 2.5 rebounds for Atkins. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with it.
All right, and then Minnesota. You said we're getting props.
Yeah, we have some props at least.
Okay, so along those same lines of 1 second, I got a phone call.
Oh, no worries. So I'll just kind of spitball for a minute and see what we have.
Okay, what I was saying along those same lines with Sylvia being out for rebounding boost, I assume that Shepard's probably gonna have to take on a huge rebounding role.
Yeah, and we've seen her already take that upon herself. Mostly the early part of the season, and it kind of dipped off over the last part in May. But she is a very involved rebounder and will definitely, unless they have somebody who's coming in that's really going to step up, which for the first game I don't think is going to happen. Um,
Yeah, she had
she's
12
gonna,
rebounds that last matchup.
yeah, she's definitely going to be involved. Might not be slotted as the center, but almost assuredly is going to be acting center tonight.
Yeah. I guess Powers could rack up some more boards with Sylvia out too.
Yeah, she's one of more of their sizable defenders as well.
Yeah. But it's yeah, I mean her prop is
It's like right at it.
right at it. Yeah, yeah. I what can we trust Shepard? Could you get behind the 6.5 rebounds? Averaging almost 8 on the season. I don't know.
With a green confidence, maybe. I don't know about that. Definitely a mid-tier play. I think with Donnie being out and the whole situation with fouls kind of setting up for a perfect storm, but it could be the perfect letdown. And we were talking about it earlier that with fouls being out, we could see honestly even Minnesota just lose from here on out and try to get their team ready for next year. And
Yeah.
with fouls, she was already kind of on the rumor mill to be retiring, so we could even see a complete personnel change here by the trade deadline, and them trading off a lot of stuff for draft picks or for young players for the season.
Cowboy man, he cracks me up. He said, "Pick up, quick question." It's about my phone call. It was Cowboy calling me. He has everyone's number out there, so if you need him to hit up someone that you're betting on, he's got you. Okay, for now I'm just gonna stay away from Minnesota. We don't have that many lines, unless you wanted to touch on anything else.
No, nothing honestly with the warm and fuzzy here. We
Yeah,
got players coming back from injury, players with injury, and Washington, with or without Donnie, is still top 5 defensive unit.
yeah,
They're very stingy. They don't give up a lot of points. They're going to make you work for it. And if we're getting a new look from Minnesota here, it could just be a total disaster for both sides of the game.
I agree. I'm probably not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna. And there's such a large slate. I'm not gonna touch them probably. Okay, let's get to. Oh, before we get to the late night hammer, the last game on the slate, which is starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. It is on a far, far island away from the rest of the slate. The next closest game that starts before that is at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, a pretty large gap there. So we should probably break this down in detail so we can give people some potential props for if you're tilt betting on a late night card because something happened in the first set of games. Okay, let's get caught up in chat. Let's do this. Let's see. Hey, Gun's in the house. What up, Gun? Emerson said, Ezzy is the Time Lordess. Oh. You're not
True.
wrong, but I don't want to talk about that. Babe the Ape. Josh the Prophet of his return. Love that name. Jatoa, Shakira over 5.5 rebound looks good too. I agree. Something that me and Cade felt good about early on. And we wanted it less than 6 and we got it. So definitely consideration. JJ said Shepard has to step up. Yeah, I agree. That's what our same train of thought it is and what we're thinking too. But never know. She's inconsistent and their unit is looking like they're going to struggle. Test no play. Any underplay to recommend today? I'm always game for unders on Vandersloot.
Yeah.
and maybe some Dallas unders. I think they're going to really struggle today. So I think, yeah, consider some of those. Any of those high lines for Dallas or, yeah, I'll probably stick with those. And maybe we get to some here with the Tarasi. Test no play. Love your content, guys. Hey, appreciate that, man. We're trying out here, and it's only going to get better throughout the season. You know, we got a long season ahead of us. WNBA goes till like August 10th or something like that. So we're gonna have all summer, and the more we do this, and me and Eric gel, and get more data on WNBA, it only better the stream's gonna get, and more refined, and our plays are going to get even more solid. So really looking forward to it. I mean, we're already on a hot streak right now. I mean, our slate earlier this week was 7-10 on our top 10 plays, and then the most recent one was 10-10. So I hope we keep it up. Hope we can just stay above a 50% hit rate. It's always the goal. You know, I saw a stat the other day. I heard a stat that was like the best sharks out there, betting sharks on props and just game totals and things like that, who bet large amounts. At best, they're like at a 60 around, get to close to around a 60% hit rate. So, you know, I wouldn't expect much as a season average throughout the whole summer. I think that could be a reasonable goal for us. Josh plus Eric equals money. Franklin said, appreciate that. Hope so tonight.
Hope so. That's the plan.
Yeah. Vince said, my guy Cowboy's always plugged in. Yeah, he is, man. He has contacts everywhere. Lorenzo, what's up, man? You're glad you're here, buddy. I don't catch you live often, but I watch replay most of the time. Keep it up. Tess said, yeah, I appreciate that. Replay content, since we're going to start trying to stream earlier in the day, definitely can go back and watch it anytime, since we're going to be streaming earlier. Yeah, right into the NFL for sure. Okay, and then to top it off before we start the last game, Callie Butthead said, what's your top 3 picks for tonight's slate? We will do that at the end. We'll do a team stream card and give like maybe just top 3 overall we could do. Yeah. But maybe that'll be encompassed in the stream card.
Yeah, I mean, we always build a team card, so that's kind of our top 4 picks.
Yeah, that should encompass that. So let's do it. Let's get into the last game of the slate, the late night hammer, which has 2 polar opposite teams.
Yeah, to say the least.
Well, I guess in terms of defense. Okay, I'm not updated this. Okay, perfect. One thing that me and Cade loved right off the bat, and they did not change it, was I was worried that they were going to juice it up to 3. But Atlanta starters, 2.5 2-point field goals made in the first 6 minutes. And the reason behind this is, I think, quite obvious. Phoenix is a bottom 3 defensive team, and both these teams run a top 5 pace. So it's going to be a track meet, which you love for this prop because that probably is going to increase your shot volume by 3 or 4 possessions in the first 6 minutes, because Atlanta's running the 3rd fastest and Phoenix is right behind them at running the 4th fastest. And Phoenix is 3rd in points allowed in the paint. They are allowing the 3rd most points in the paint. So all of that is adding up to that prop hitting, and it's only 2.5. I would still maybe even consider if it was 3.5. I know Atlanta, not traditionally like, you know, a powerhouse offensive team, but they can get it done with Rin in the paint and Christie and even in Parker. So I like it. I don't know if you have any opposing feelings on it or thoughts, but
yeah,
that was
I definitely
one that we really wanted to lock in.
Definitely. And just being such a low threshold to cross is just crazy. You know, we were on that several games ago when they failed us, and then we saw PrizePicks make immediate adjustments. You know, they were taking hits left and right from that particular prop across the board, and they juiced all of them up to, I believe, 3 and 3.5 was like the bare minimum. So I'm actually quite taken back that they
Yes.
lowered it.
Yes.
They lowered it back down than that, and I wouldn't say it's a free square. There's definitely some huge risk with it, and we're gonna get a bit of a new look from Atlanta,
Yeah.
um,
No
with
Wheeler.
with no Wheeler here, and kind of a new look back to the original for Phoenix here with having Charles out. She's been out for a couple games, so it's gonna be interesting. This is kind of shaking up to be an interesting little late night hammer. Want to see starting lines just to make sure.
Yeah. So So I need to update this. Phoenix is only, or Atlanta's only 4.5 favorites, right? No, Phoenix is 4.5 favorites. Wait. 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 Am I missing something? Is this all just because Tina is back?
Yeah, I think honestly with Tina coming back and the home field advantage, they're kicking a little extra too. But
Wow.
Wheeler was a huge impact for the defense, but
Sure.
not hasn't really been so much for the offense. So I don't know if like that bodes better or worse. We could have actually a new bench player step into the starting role like McDonald or I forget the other one, Christie, and get hot from three. And this could actually be a really close game and a lot more interesting than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah. I No, I agree on that. I'm just taken back by Vegas's thoughts behind this. Okay. Um so who do we think starts in place of Wheeler? Who checked in for Wheeler when she went down?
I don't know if it was McDonald or
Oh yes, that's right. It was McDonald. It was. She played all of Wheeler's minutes. Yep, 30 minutes. Checked in right when Wheeler went down with that sprained
and
ankle
looked pretty
foot.
good.
Do we have props? Did they give us props for her? Yes, they
Let me
did.
see.
Cool. Not many props. I was hoping for a rebound or assist, but okay. I think the 9.5 points can be in play. In this up pace track meet environment. So why is Chrissy's point? Wait, why are her points so low?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at. If
Is it
I'm
because
missing
of
something
Tina?
here.
All because of Tina being back? I don't. That's crazy low. I mean, she's been at what, like 8.5, 9.5?
Yeah, she was right around the 10 marker.
What's going on here? Wait, Wheeler's out. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, Christie is definitely very interesting, and you also have to think about, if McDonald's is now with the starters, there is no other main ball handler for the second unit now, and who's going to fill that? This girl right here, you know, low prop line, building for another perfect storm.
she just put up 17, dropped 17 on Phoenix.
Yeah, I think maybe with her not starting, and I guess with Charles coming back, that's a thing, but even still, she's going to come off, I would assume, with the second unit and get deep run with them, while Phoenix's starters are not playing. So it's just such a low prop line, man. Like they really put them down for her.
Yeah, they even have her assist at 2. Like, I think that's been at 2.5 or even 3 at one point. I I mean, with Wheeler being out, it's gonna boost assist rate for people like McDonald and Christie, right? I mean, although she's more of a spot shooter coming off screens and 3-point shooting, but she has shown that she can play make. I mean, last 3 games, I mean, she's had around 4 assists. And with this being a fast paced game with more possession and shot volume go around, I could even get behind that. But I just think that the probably stick with the 6.5 points because she can't get hot from 3. Would you agree on that, or would you take a stab at the 2 assists?
No, I definitely like the points, or if maybe even the PRA. She takes a lot of shots. I believe took 12 this last outing, and wasn't the most efficient scorer, but kind of a do-it-all guard. They're just a really, really low threshold on honestly all of her props.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go up by
Yeah,
the
you
end.
think so?
Yeah, see, man, she shot 1 of 4. Christy did from 3 in that last game against the Suns, about almost 2 weeks ago, and she still like crushed her point prop at 17. If she shoots like normal 3-point percentage, like I'm confident, almost 100% confident that she's gonna clear 6.5 points. That seems broken. Um,
Yeah, and looking at some of her history here as well for Wallace, her PRA kind of surprised. Still again they lowered that, but she's cleared that in the last 6 of 7. She's just been cruising, hitting that 11.5 marker.
yeah, I think it's falling play.
And a tidbit here, you got to think about she picked up, she fouled out last game too. So there was still room for her development and growth there.
Yeah. I mean, look, they waxed. I mean, they just totally waxed Phoenix 2 weeks ago, 81-54, and Tina played that game. I mean, she wasn't efficient. She was 2 of 11, but she played.
Yeah, that
um,
was the one she burned us.
yeah, I mean, what is Vegas? I don't know. I guess Phoenix home court matters that much, but yeah, okay. I mean, it's not like Wheeler that made that much of an impact. I mean, she had 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and 16 points. I mean, McDonald is a serviceable backup. I mean, she can get it done and get around the same stat line. So, um, okay. I I I'm gonna nominate this Chrissy Wallace 6.5 points for my top play, unless I'm missing something.
No, I can definitely get behind it. I mean, just the sheer shot volume alone from what we've seen out of her should clear that.
Okay. Another thing that Cade liked and mentioned, and he broke it down based on like the style, how Atlanta played Phoenix last game. Oh wow. Okay. He liked Rin's 2 assists. They dropped her to 1.5 assists. I think Cade is probably loving this right now because he was loving the 2 assist prop line
Yeah.
that she's normally been at, and now it's down to 1.5. And it's because he was explaining the last time they played, like Phoenix was like trapping Rin and blitzing her, and forcing the ball out of her hand, and she was just dishing it out, and she finished with 6 assists in that game as a result. I think that even you can make the case that she's going to dish it out even more with Wheeler being out, and probably more ball handling for her with Wheeler out. So that's just even more opportunity for her to get blitzed by the Suns defense. I mean, 1.5 assists, that's for someone who's going to pick up a lot of ball handling and dominate usage. I mean, that just seems too low, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's definitely low. Her playmaking is something that's still kind of being developed for
As a
her as
rookie, yeah.
yeah, as such a young player. And now she's got kind of the added problem of I don't have my go-to who I've learned with the entire season thus far, and now I'm going to have a different person in the mix. It's a little bit of different chemistry, but I do like the person coming in, and I feel like the replacement is a reasonable upgrade. Not that Wheeler's bad by any means, but I feel like she's just a very streaky, like high highs and then low lows as far as points and helping the offense. And this could be something that is
You
you
talking about
know
McDonald?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or honestly, just any of the guards or any of the filler pieces that are going to come in to replace Wheeler, I think is only going to help the offense. They might take a slight hit on the defensive side. They might not have the same stock upside, but we've seen Atlanta just really struggle to keep the game close because Ren's putting the entire team on her shoulder, and finally teams have caught on to that, and so we're seeing back to what you're talking about, the double and the triple team trying to trap her, and now she's having to figure out how to get the ball out and keep the playmaking ability alive. So I fully support the 1.5. It's just way too low. She's had her assists at least, I would say, two for the last almost month now. And going against this matchup, Atlanta's definitely. They lost last game, correct? They got beat, if I'm not mistaken.
Atlanta smoked them 81-54.
Or I mean, their last game that they played, they got beat
Oh,
down by Seattle here.
oh, the Sunday game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Atlanta on the road gives me a little bit of pause. They're one of the worst road teams,
but they're a
but
solid home team. Yeah.
yeah, really good home team. But outside of that, you know, I love McDonald coming in this situation. So I'm feeling more confident on her to make the shots and thus correlating with the assists coming out.
Wait, so you like her points more? Is that what you're saying?
Or I'm just supporting the fact that I do like Ren's assist.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Parker, or and then which McDonald prop do you like the most? Do you want to go with the lower 9.5 points? That's kind of where I was leaning, but she's gonna have to get it done and fill the stat line with Wheeler out if you want to go with her PRA or fantasy.
You could. She turns the ball over a little bit, but
Yeah.
probably I would say just the points. I mean, she went
Yeah.
3 from 10, a pretty subpar effort, but went 0 from 3 So if we nailed one of those threes, then she'd easily clear that.
Yeah, she was taking a lot of shots, I think, when Wheeler went down, correct?
Yeah, she did, and she only had one free throw attempt, which is something that I feel like is probably a low here in this situation.
Okay. Billings has been someone that we've liked to target for her PRA, but her PRA, that was when it was down to 10.5, 11, and up to 11.5. Now it's at 13.5. With Tina being back, do you like this prop, or is this something that we should probably stay away from now?
I don't mind it quite as much, mostly because we are seeing her come off the bench, and more than likely she's going to get some run without Charles on the other side. And very explosive player that, when wants to be aggressive, gets a lot of offensive rebounding too, in particular. But her props are just kind of getting on up there, and maybe some of the minutes kind of concerns me. We're not really sure what to expect on a night-to-night basis. If we're getting high teens, low 20s, or are we
Yeah.
getting high 20s like this last time, or it was one of the last two games, and she just had a really stellar rebounding performance. Um, I would be a little concerned on some of the secondary pieces for Atlanta who aren't starting today.
Okay. I would say with how bad of a rebounding team Phoenix is, they're second to last in rebound percentage. I could maybe consider, which I thought about yesterday during the first look, would be Parker's rebound prop, depending on what it was. It's at 6. It's not bad. Like it a little bit more since it's not 6.5. What do you think about that? I think she had 10 rebounds last matchup against Phoenix. She had 10 rebounds in only 22 minutes.
Yeah, I think she got in some foul trouble, right?
Yeah, Billings had 8 rebounds, and McDonald had 8 rebounds as well.
Yeah, I have her rebounding and her fantasy just for some stock upside. And we know that Phoenix does like to turn the ball over a little bit.
Yeah.
But I actually want to go back to Ren. I really loved her rebounding prop today.
Yeah. Forgot to mention that. I'm glad you reminded me on that. I think we had that marked too. Let's put it down. Yeah, I mean, both the probably exposure to both her assist and rebound and separate cards. Because they're both just so
low, so
tempting.
low.
Yeah, and I think she's gonna pick up a lot of rebounds that Wheeler's gonna leave off the board. Because Wheeler wasn't a bad rebounder for a guard. Definitely get behind that. And more fringe for Parker's rebound. I wish we had a McDonald rebound, but they didn't give it to us. I would have definitely considered that, depending on what it was. If it was at like 3 or something like that. Did they give us a coffee rebound?
I believe
4.
so.
Okay, that's pretty low in this matchup.
It's good for, I think, at least a push. Kind of a safe play.
I mean, she's averaging, what is she? I mean, she's averaging five, almost 6 rebounds on the season. So, in Billings, they had what they have 6.5. Okay, so I like Parker's a little more. So let's see. You get that flat line at 6 potential push. Okay, are we ready to move on to Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Break this down and build our team card and
Yep.
get ready for tonight.
Yeah. We want to give ourselves enough time to flesh out our top 10 list for the group and then build our cards. Okay. On to Phoenix. And then we'll catch up with chat too before. Okay, so Tita's back. Like I said, that last game she basically did nothing. Shot really poorly. She was 2 of 11. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. It was definitely an outlier game. She could definitely bounce back today. But yeah, with Tina being back, it's going to take a hit on Skylar and Diamond's potential ceiling, because we've seen them have ceiling games with her out. But Diamond was something that me and Cade were discussing yesterday as a key target. They opened her points at 12.5, which is much less than her season average, but for good reason, because Atlanta is the best defense overall in the league. They are first in defensive rating. So, but maybe like Eric said, that defensive rating comes down a little bit. It can be adjusted on the road because how poorly they play on the road. So something to take into consideration. And then, what do we want to do with the old vet Taurasi?
She is so frustrating.
She is.
I would say, unless you're just jonesing to play the single game for a card or something like that, she's going to be a complete fade for me today. I want to see.
I agree.
Honestly, I just want to see what the offense is going to look like back with Charles. We know that Charles takes a fair amount of usage, but she'll take quite a few shots, and a lot of the opportunity is about to get redistributed where it was supposed to be when she was playing. So I want to see some of these lines. And we're getting lines at their peak. Like these lines were way, way lower when Phoenix was playing terrible, and then they had their get right game, and now we're seeing them all coming back up to where they should be. So I'm going to err on the side of caution that Taurasi is going to play like Taurasi and feel totally fine with whatever happens.
I am right there with you. I mean, I don't feel good about any of these Phoenix plays, to be honest. I don't like attacking Atlanta, even though Atlanta's on the road. And Tina being back just like mucks it up a bit, because me and Kate on the early look show yesterday were kind of on the assumption that Tina was going to be out again, which made the breakdown a little bit easier because we could go back to targeting Diamond and Skylar for picking up a lot of the usage and stat lines that Tina left on the board. But Tina playing, like, yeah, makes me a little bit hesitant. But I mean, we did notice that Diamond was playing in garbage time. She played the entire fourth quarter in this blowout game last time they played. So if we don't think it's going to stay close again, Diamond could pick up a lot of the garbage time stats, which are gold because she's gonna be going against second unit players, bench players. So a real high chance of racking up accruing stats during that time. So that would be the only rationale behind Diamond. Do you have a lean on either Skylar or Diamond? Would you have them in some of your core cards, or are you just gonna fade Phoenix altogether?
Probably mostly going to be a fade for me today.
But if you okay, so I agree on the main card. But let's say me and you are building a tilt late night card together. For anyone out there that would want to know this information in case they are going to make a late night card and they don't have time to make a main card, what would we
Yeah.
go with?
Yeah. So frustration aside, I would say for Tarasi, her 3.5 assists
Yeah,
are way too low for her.
I agree.
Um, but you could take a shot on Skylar. Her 14.5 real points is kind of in that fringe zone. For me personally, my target is right at about 15.5. So she's pushing that comfort zone for me. But I would take that. They're going to have some other main facilitator for the offense here, and it's either going to be Tina or probably Skylar in this situation. Um, I think that we're going to see Diamond really kind of take a back seat to what her production level was while Tina was out. And we're definitely going to see Turner just almost be non existent from here on. Um, so with her,
Like a Draymond Green type player.
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe consider some unders on her.
Yeah, and I was just looking at that. Maybe some of her specific, like the PRA, you take a couple shots on the under, or even her rebounding. 7 rebounds with Charles back. That's a pretty high bar.
I agree. That's the one that stood out to me. Yeah, and Atlanta is top notch rebounding. They're second in rebound percentage, right behind Connecticut. So
Yeah, and
totally
Charles,
makes
her
sense.
rebound is at 7, and that for me seems kind of high. So definitely 7.5 or 7 for Turner is way too high.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, and then maybe Tina. She's a baller, but it's not the best matchup. Again, Atlanta being in the top defense, and they are first in paint defense. They allow the least amount of points in the paint. So
Yeah, and the last
it makes sense why she struggled so much in that first meeting. She went 2 of 11.
yeah, yeah. So there's definitely a lot of risk there, and with her coming back from injury to, not really just sure what to expect here. Are they going to push her to try and have this as a must-win game, or are we going to see her chop it up between her and Turner, and it's just going to be kind of, I don't want to be in this situation.
Yeah, I I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. Like she has come back from injury, and yet PrizePicks has opened her lines as if she was just like still playing her normal healthy minutes and season averages because they have her at 15.5 points and she's averaging 15 over little over 15 on the season. So yeah, there is a good chance that she's eased back in and is not a full go. So I think it's too risky in my opinion. I want to see how she does.
Yeah, with such a big slate, unless you're building this as a standalone card, then I would not have many, at least especially from Phoenix side of the ball, I would not have many comfortable picks.
I agree. But with this being the island game, it'll be like the last game of the night. NBA will be over. All the WNBA games will be over. There will be tilt betting. So
Yeah, oh, I'm
people
sure. I'm
will.
sure I'll be one of them.
Yep, I'll be right there with you, trying to figure out. All right, guys, what are we doing here? What are we going with? So I think
Yeah,
I think I'll probably dive back in and scrape the barrel later on in the night on this. But for now, for my main cards, I'm probably just gonna stay away from Phoenix. So let's just get right into the team stream card. Last time we were 5 of 5, so let's keep it going. Let's keep the hot streak alive and well. I went first, I believe, last time, so you are on the docket.
Okay. Let's see. So for my first pick, I'm gonna stick with my guns. We're gonna go with Bonner rebound at 4.
Oh yeah, the Eric special. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got that one in.
Back-to-back picks here.
Oh, we can do every other one. That kind of makes sense. Give the person time for the next one. I'm gonna go with. I already have the first one locked and loaded. I'm gonna go Chrissy Wallace, 6.5 points.
Nice. Okay.
That one we dug out of we mined that one live on stream, so we're gonna write it out and hope that it's a good gem.
All right. So I think we're gonna go back to New York here.
Yeah. We got it. We have to get access to that game.
Yeah, I think Dolson points. That was one of my other.
I had a very strong feeling that you were going to do it. All right. Oh man. So okay, since you went Dolson points, I wanted to make sure we got access to that game. I was going to do Sabrina.
Well, I mean, we could do that if you want, just for I guess a safer core
play. We could do it as a flex play. It would make sense to have her as a flex. I don't know, because I really want to pair Wallace's points with Rin's 1.5 assists.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Let me just check back to our notes real quick though and make sure I'm not missing. Now we're not playing it in the team starter props, but it doesn't mean we don't like them. I really like them. I just don't want to put team starter props in our team stream card because of how volatile they can be. And I think they have a price limit on them, just like a first half prop. So anyone out there that's trying to bet a large amount, I think those type of props you can't do. So doesn't mean we don't like them. Really like the Washington one. Really like the Atlanta one. So just because they're not doing that as a side note. Oh, Ezzy. Oh, man. So many good props today.
Yeah, she's setting up for a big day.
She's the popular play of the day. I feel like everyone's talking about her. Okay, I think we could go with. I definitely want either Ezzy or Sabrina as the flex play. So, what do you think? We can make the flex play a duo decision consensus.
I like Ezzy. I think her props are still fairly low for her and still a lot of upside.
Yeah, but you know what? Think about it, like Brianna, answering that question earlier, like Brianna has not let me down yet, and I don't know why I would get away from her today. I mean, she dominated Dallas last game, and I mean, I just don't see why she wouldn't tonight.
Or we could go first half props. I think it was at like 14 or 15 for her. And
17. Okay, let's see that. I would say her first half 17 fantasy points. If you're not worried about being capped on how much you can enter, like the $100 limit. But if you want to enter more, then I'm right behind her for a full game. So I would say 1A, 1B, just depending on what kind of betting you're doing. But for the sake, I'm just gonna put full game. That okay. And then the flex play. What do we want to do? Do we decide? Do we want to? I guess since we're doing Brianna, we don't have to do Ezzy. I mean, people are going to play Ezzy no matter what, so we don't need to suggest it on the stream card. I feel like.
Yeah, Ezzy's a good play. Most of honestly Seattle, the three big starters are going to be good plays today. Wouldn't
Yeah,
talk you off of
yeah,
them.
yeah. I agree 100%. So yeah, we don't need to put that up there to suggest people are already on it. Do we want a Sabrina prop or a Rin rebound or assist prop?
We can go with just to kind of also meet the community consensus here. If we want to pull down Dolson, let her be maybe a fifth pick flex or something like, or in this than situation, and we'll play Sabrina, her PRA. Just keep it a core easy across the board play.
Okay. Okay. I don't want to detract. I mean, Dolson was your gut call. Don't ever want to get away from gut calls.
She's definitely a good call, but I wouldn't talk anybody off of Sabrina today. I mean, she's just been balling out of control lately.
She has. Not wrong. And then so we'll add Dolson as the fifth.
Yeah, because it's such a low prop line. Or if we want to
Yeah,
get
I like that. I mean, that game. I think, like I said, that it's the game on the slate, and it would make sense to have at least 2 plays from that on a card. For New York for sure, and those are the 2 players I would target.
yeah, and we're actually getting 0.5 in our favor if you want to be extra risky on our first half real points. It's at 2.5.
Yeah, we'll have to dive into our first half rotation.
Yeah.
All right, how's this look, chat? You guys like this? What do you think? Is this a 5 hit again? Are we gonna keep the hot streak going? Let us know before we get off, and we'll get you guys comments on this. But this, are you good, Eric? Are we locking? We're locking this in.
Yeah, these are some of my favorite plays today, and all 5 of these are on the side of the ball that is getting the pace up in the matchup. So I like that
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, probably take pieces of this card and mix in some of those team starters props, and then just play them standalone away from the team starter props. Just because, like I said, those can be volatile, so you don't want to go 100% in on those. But I do want access to some of those team starter props, and then mix in some of these plays and some of the other top ones that we talked about. But we'll flesh out the top 10 list, and we will provide it to the YouTube members before lock and the YouTube member channel on the Discord. So if you join as a YouTube member, $5 a month, it helps out the stream, helps keep this going. Because Gun, runs all this behind the scenes and with the production. Me and Eric don't have time for that. We just have time to come on here, 2 hours a day and just talk basketball. But Gun is the engine behind it all and keeps everything running. So that helps with that. So if you want access to our top 10 list, go ahead and sign up. Join as a YouTube member. Like I said, $5 a month, and then we provide our top 10 list and some mid-tier plays too, each slate. And then if you don't want to, that's fine. You can just join our free Discord in the link below. We hash things out and chop things up together and sweat all these props together, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend joining the free Discord if you're not a part of it yet. And with that, we can just close it out with any remaining questions or comments and see what people think of the card. Let's see. So JJ said Tinder costs money. You're gonna have to ask Gun about that. He's the Tinder king. Tina Charles is still a beast. Lorenzo says she is. Not a great matchup, but I want to see how she looks coming back from injury. That's my only hesitation. But you're not wrong, Lorenzo. You're not wrong. Emerson and the like help smash that bottom preps.
Hit the like button.
Yeah, got it. Get in the free Discord as well. Good info. Yep, right. Yep. Cowboy said unders. I think he's talking about Phoenix here. Skylar is Bay 2. Yeah.
Yeah, looking back, if Tina and Skylar were some of the top performers from their game tonight, wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Okay. Check this out. So Gun said underdog offers WNBA props. If anyone is looking for a quick bankroll boost, they double your first deposit if you use this link he provides. Yeah, that's just even more access to WNBA betting material because I don't believe that there are WNBA props out there in the sports books. So I think having Prize Picks and Underdog for that is really nice and gives us access to WNBA betting. Let's see. Hanzo said New York free throw props look solid. Indiana fouls are out of control. Yeah, they're first in free throw attempts allowed, and that's big reason why we like Sabrina's 2 free throw prop for sure. And I guess you could consider Natasha's too. I forget what it was. I was at 2.5 or 3.
Yeah, that would be even another good correlation if you guys are building cards. Switch out Sabrina for her free throw props.
Mm-hmm.
Keep all the bars low tonight. We have so many options.
Yeah. John said link to the YouTube Discord. So to get access to the YouTube member channel, you just hit the join button on YouTube and join there, and then you link your YouTube to Discord, and you'll automatically join the channel. But if you just want access to our Discord, our free Discord, it's just the link below here on the YouTube page, and you can just join through that, and that will just give you access to the group where we just chat and break down all the games together as a group and share screenshots and sweat things together. So Gun said at Tinder costs money on the screen for 30 minutes. I put it on there. I like the question. Yeah, Corey said you already know I got $10 on a fam card. Hey, it's been hitting, so get it while you can, while it's hot. John said thanks, Gun. Same Corey. Chatoa said, and Mike said, let's go. I hope this is a good night, fellas, man. It's Friday. Let's finish out the week strong. I don't know what the schedule is for Saturday and Sunday. I'm gonna take those off. Be back at it strong though on Monday. Let's check out the schedule before we head out here.
Yeah, we got an interesting week coming up here. I'll be semi available as I am on the weekends, but I'll try to make time to probably Saturday night start doing somewhat of a deep dive, and depending on if they give us props early or not, will kind of dictate my Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the same schedule as like this how this week went, where there's no game on Monday. We have 2 on Tuesday. I assume we're gonna have 2 on Wednesday, like this week.
I believe so, yeah. And we got another big.
Oh, wait, no, wait. Oh, I hate how ESPN is always web page for the scores is always so slow. It's 3 games on Wednesday, so that's nice. Wednesday will be fun. Oh yeah, Wednesday looks great. I mean, so we have Phoenix and Indiana, 2 fast-paced teams, 2 bad defenses, and then we have Dallas and Las Vegas. So that could get a little bit tilted. But then Atlanta and Connecticut should be a great basketball game to watch. 2 very solid defenses. And then Thursday, I assume one game.
One, yeah.
And then Friday, 3 games. Okay, I like that. It spreads it out a little bit. I think 3 games is a nice little sweet spot for WNBA. We've had success with that. So, okay, cool. This should be a good week. Pretty much we'll stream every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. Yeah, so be sure to stay around. Depending on the baseball schedule, we'll probably try to shoot for 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern start times for each day. But yeah. Did you have anything else, Eric, you wanted to finish off with?
No, I think that was going to be about it. Were y'all doing an NBA stream today or no?
No, because we only have an hour and a half for lock right now, and I really want to hash out the top 10 lists. It's going to take a bit to get through all these props that we like since it's such a big slate, and I'm depressed about that game.
I'm sure.
I'm a Warriors fan, and it's not looking good. We're banged up, and just not a good matchup. So Yeah, we're gonna skip the NBA stream. I think we might consider doing one more next week just to close out the NBA season, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I feel like we know what we're working with at this point, and the props really
Yeah.
aren't changing that much. It's just
Yeah.
home away narrative.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go get some food, get ready for tonight.
right.
You gonna be in the free Discord tonight?
For sure. I will be there probably 40 minutes before lock.
It's about 35 minutes from now, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. We'll see you guys there. Good luck tonight.
All right, chat. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. We will see you guys next week and get that cash. All right. I will catch you later, man.
All right, man. I'll see you shortly. My buddy, I see you. Back up. Back up. Back up.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.